Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 2.39. In this Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali explains the impact of aparigraha, which is the fifth yama. So let's take a good look at this sutra and try to understand what it's trying to explain to us. So the sutra itself goes, aparigraha sthairye janma kathanta sambodhaha. Alright, so this is the sutra itself. Now let's take a good look at each of the words and start understanding their meanings. So the first word here is aparigraha. So aparigraha refers to not hoarding, not overly possessing, and being a little mindful of the way in which we interact with our possessions. So that is aparigraha. Then coming to the second word, we have sthairya, and sthairya refers to stability or stabilization of the ability of aparigraha. And it's really interesting to note, we're going to come to this later, that we haven't used the word pratishtha here, but sthairya has been used instead, unlike the other previous sutras. Then coming to the next word, we have janma. And janma here usually refers to the particular birth that you're in or this particular lifetime. And the next word moves to katha or kathanta, as we had got in the sutra itself. And this refers to the purpose, the purposefulness, the why behind, why you're doing what you do. And so here we can use it as the word purposefulness as kathanta. And then finally we come to the last word, which is sambodhaha. And here this word is referring to the full knowledge or the complete understanding of something. So these are the meanings of each of the words, and now let's get a good understanding of the sutra itself. So the sutra itself is trying to explain to us that yes, there are many different ways in which we can practice aparigraha, but essentially once you get stabilized in it, it's saying that you actually get the knowledge or the understanding of your life and maybe even previous lifetimes, and the knowledge and purposefulness of why you're here in this particular moment and in this particular lifetime. Now, right off the bat, I have to say there's a lot of conjecture and debate between commentators about the exact meaning of this sutra. There are a lot of commentators that believe that when we say Janma Kathanta, it's referring to multiple lifetimes, and it's talking about gaining the knowledge about each and every lifetime. So those commentators believe that through the process of aparigraha, when we don't hoard, we also start to reduce our sense of ego, and with that reduction in ego, we actually are able to feel or experience the deeper memories seated in our consciousness, which come up to the forefront, and therefore we're able to unravel what happened in previous lifetimes, etc. So this is one line of thinking that a lot of commentators follow, and for some schools of thought it could be valid. However, the current school of thought that we're following prefers or instructs more towards the ability of aparigraha to actually help us understand that hey, we don't really need that much in this lifetime. So for example, because of the pandemic, I think across the globe, we were all experiencing the same thing. We realized that to actually lead a happy or a day-to-day happy, joyous life, we don't actually need that many worldly possessions. Like, we can all do without a few of the clothes that we have. We can do without some of the possessions. Certain things, yes, we enjoy more than others, but there are certain things that were just extra, that we didn't really need, but we just had them anyway. So aparigraha encourages us not to hoard, to only use what we really need and, or what we really, really enjoy, and then to not kind of just keep taking things in because they're available. So that's the essence of aparigraha. And according to the school of thought that we follow, what it's saying is that because of that, you start to be very conscious with your spending, be very conscious with your habits, be very conscious with what you engage with. And because of that, what becomes clear to you is what is important, right? As they always say, in times of crisis or in times of limitation, what becomes very clear is what's important. So for example, if I tell you, hey, today you can only own 3 things, everything else that you own, you have to do away with and pick only 3, You'll pick the 3 most important ones. And by picking those 3 most important ones, you will get an idea about what's important to you. And once you know what's important to you, it shows you what your life's purpose is, because whatever you choose is important to you is directly tied to you as a person and what you enjoy doing and what you want to serve through. So for example, if for me I was told you can only keep 3 things, I think I would keep my laptop, my camera, and probably just the internet connection, because I can still continue making videos. I can do, all of the things that I need to with these possessions. So I feel like the things that we say we're going to keep, the things that we really, really need, indicate to us our purpose. They indicate what we're really passionate about, what we care about, what we really want to focus on. And through that, we gain a deeper understanding of our purpose, of the things that matter to us. And so by practicing aparigraha, both in the material world, spiritual world, in relationships and people that we're with, we actually find out what is important to us. We're not hoarding, we're just taking what we really need. And so that gives us a deep sense of purpose, of understanding, and knowing who we are and what we're working towards. On the other hand, at the same time, it's really important to notice in this sutra that the word sthairya has been used instead of pratishtha. Alright, so this is really, really important to keep in mind, because pratishtha is a very important word for the previous yamas, because pratishtha has a sense of it's kind of a very socially acceptable, socially admired and respected term. So when you say pratishtha, it's like, wow, it's like pretty socially admired as well. And so when we say that you have a very strong, a firm establishment in, say, ahimsa, that's a socially admirable thing. If I tell somebody I'm non-violent and I have a very strong grounding in that, people are going to admire that. But on the other hand, when you say aparigraha, right? And if you say that I am really, really firm with my aparigraha practice, I live only on 3 t-shirts and 3 pairs of jeans, a lot of people are going to look at that and not admire it socially. There's going to be a little bit of a judgment. There's going to be a little bit of a confused, can't understand why you would do that kind of a look. And that's because aparigraha by default may not always be socially admired, but it's still something that's good for the yogic practice and sadhana. Therefore, in a very smart way, Patanjali hasn't used the word pratishtha over here, because that indicates a little level of social admirability, but instead he's used the word sthairya, which indicates stability. And sthairya doesn't have the connotation of social admirability. So therefore, by using the word sthairya here, he's just saying that you need to just stabilize yourself in aparigraha to be in the yogic sadhana. It doesn't matter if it's socially admired or if it's appreciated or not. Because anyway, these yamas are not for us to be socially admired, right? They're for us to move forward on the path of yoga, be true to our yogic sadhana. So keeping that in mind, I think, is what Muni Patanjali, thought about when this sutra was being constructed. And that is why the word sthairya has been used instead of pratishtha, unlike the previous 4 sutras. So this is quite an important difference. Now, in conclusion, I think what is helpful for us to remember is that our purpose in this lifetime becomes clear when we know what to focus on. I think focus is everything, and focus only comes when we reduce hoarding. When we're spread out and we have too much coming our way, that makes our energies dissipate. It goes in all these different directions and we're not able to see very clearly. But when we have sharp focus, when we have clarity of thought, when we know exactly what we're here for, that happens when there's limited entrance of random things into our life, because then we're being very intentional. We're only letting in certain things that we know are going to take us forward on this particular path. And so that is what this sutra is all about, aparigraha, and the resultant purposefulness that we experience through the impact of aparigraha. So I hope this sutra has been helpful. If so, please don't forget to share it with your friends and family, especially those friends who might be doing a yoga teacher training or are studying yoga philosophy. Now, we look forward to seeing you in the next video or in our next workshop. Until then, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. We look forward to seeing you in the next video, and we're gonna see you very soon. Namaste.